Yes, now, guys, it is time for mine and Kyle's Formula E predictions for the Miami E-Prix. Kyle, not too long ago we were in Mexico City. Are you excited for the Miami race?
I'm super excited for this race. Obviously, this is a fresh track. It's obviously been raced on with Formula One, but how Formula E is going to fare, I think it could be anything. Anything could happen. And as we've learnt through this series, don't try and bet predictable. Like I know me and you have been big Formula One fans. When watching that as that was going on. Obviously we've been able to predict those with the top three most of the time. You can't do that with Formula E. We had Buemi on pole last week or last race.
Yeah, crazy race in Mexico. Buemi sort of ending his race after the first corner. He was your energized. Was he your energized driver,
Yeah.
Kyle?
And I've realised that
Ah,
there's a Kyle's curse because every time I had Marty in the first race, he then did a somersault. Buemi teased me by putting it on pole and then forgetting where his breaking point was. So, as I said in my unscripted video, beware of my curse. And I feel bad for the driver. I want them to do well. I've picked them as my energized, but they're likely going to have a terrible weekend if it
Kyle,
stands.
Kyle, I hope you have not picked my good man Gunther as your energized driver this week. Otherwise, we'll be having stern words.
I don't think I could do that to Max. But no spoilers. Obviously, the season's close between me and you. We are not capitalising on the points. I think we can score up to 26. It was 25 in the first round, and I think there's an extra points because we added a new point system in here. We haven't changed it from last week, but I'll put on screen now how you score points. If you leave your prediction in the comments, you can join along with the championship that we're doing with the comments section. Last week, I keep saying last week, it feels natural to say, but last race, obviously, Circuit Breakers, the YouTube podcast, outscored me from Brazil and Mexico with a whopping score of 11 or 12, depends on how you want to balance it. But we've given you 11 points because obviously energized and depleted is quite opinion, but we're going to say 11 or 12 points. It's a massive result. So, and we featured on their show as well, Corey. Did you see that?
Yeah, that was insane. That prediction. Like, I remember you sent me a link to the show. I had a little look, and I saw like they showed his comment, and I was just like, how on earth has he managed to pull that one out? But yeah, we shouldn't have had a race, like he said. We shouldn't
Yeah.
have had a race. But yeah, that was an insane prediction. So well done, Circuit Breakers,
Yeah, that was Taylor and
on that.
his co-host Dallas. You need to get involved, Dallas. You know the rules now. I actually got to meet Circuit Breakers on a quiz that I did with some of the creators, but I can't tell you too much because that's a bit of a spoiler. But yeah, it was amazing to meet them guys and to feature on their show as the British two idiots because they like to brand themselves as the American two idiots of Formula E. So it's nice to have something in common. So yeah, so the premise of the show, of course, if anyone's new to Formula E or our prediction show, me and Corey have a set of questions. We score points on the questions. Here's the point system again, and we're going to go through it. And yeah, no changes, so everyone knows the drill. Put your comments down below on what you think. Pick either mine or Corey's group, or even just make it up, and we'll score it the best we can. So we've got a little calculator that does it all. So I guess it's me to start, isn't it, this week? So
Yes, Kyle, it is yours this week because I went first last time. So it is. Do you do it by championship order? Do we just take it
So
in turns?
so on yeah, we take it in turns on single headers. So I've got Group A and you've got Group B. Obviously, last week it was alternative, and I've kind of got a cool format for the double headers, but we've still got a bit of time to work on that. But obviously, we aren't going to be able to do two episodes in one weekend. We struggle to get one done for one weekend. So, but I guess I'll start it off. So we're going to start off with fourth position, and for me. I feel like it's a fresh track, like anything can happen here. So I'm going to go Pepe Marti as my fourth in the Duels. I'm doing a U now. Fourth in the qualifying to get into the Duels.
He's
so
only saying that because I said that every time we do it. I say, oh, I reckon he's going to get fourth in the duels, but it doesn't matter. As long as he's in the duels, it doesn't matter.
but yeah, I
But
feel
yes,
like I feel like Marty. He's shown some strong performances. He's in a very fast car. And obviously, it's only been a terrible season for Kiro, really, that they haven't shown how powerful they actually are. But that is my fourth position. Who's your fourth in the groups?
Well, we might as well carry on the conversation, Kyle, because I've gone for Dan Ticktum in the Cooper Hero as my fourth in the duels. Um, I just think he qualifies well a lot, doesn't he? So I just think it's just a safe bet in a way. But he's had rotten luck. He's last in the championship or near enough. And I
No,
think
he is. I think he's
got a point to
he's
prove.
absolute bottom.
Yeah, he's got a point to prove. Obviously, we said that last time. He's got a point to prove after that disaster in Sao Paulo. But I just think he's going to get into the duels from the selection I had. And yeah, I think he'll have a bit of a stronger weekend. I mean, it can't really get much worse, can it? But
And it's Miami.
we'll
Like,
see.
this,
Yeah,
it's just
we'll
exciting.
yeah. So we'll see how he does. But I've put him in my duel selection.
Third place. So for mine, I'm still feeling like this driver, although he had a blunder last week, showed some real strength, and I'm going for Buemi. I just think that he was quick, and even after he had his blunder at the start of the race, he somehow got back up into like 6th or 7th, and then he had a puncher. So it's like almost like the domino effect. So once it happens to you in Formula E, you're always going to end up last. It happened to Tictum in Sao Paulo, and it's happened to Buemi in Mexico. But Buemi is quick, and he's making that Envision look very fast, and it's making look like Jaguars, the B team to Envision, which is amazing. But yeah, Sebastian Buemi is my decision. What about your third?
So third, I've gone for the championship leader. No, I haven't. He's not the championship leader. Jake Dennis. Is he the championship leader? I don't think he
No,
is.
no,
Is he?
he's not.
No,
That's consistent
Well,
Cassidy.
I've gone Dennis. I've gone Dennis.
He's the leader of your list, so I can see where you get confused there.
Yes. No, I got my brain all boggled. I forgot about consistent Cassidy. But yes, I've gone Dennis in the duels. No brainer for me. He's on form. He's had 2 podiums. Well, a win and a Did he get a podium? No, he didn't get a podium.
No, I think he came 4th in the last race.
4th, near enough a podium. So he's proven he's got a solid pace at the moment, and I think he's got to be in there in my opinion. But we'll see how the weekend pans out. It could throw some surprises at a new track. So yeah, I've just gone
enough
Dennis.
said. Enough said. Obviously he's second in the championship, so he's top of your group. So it's fully understandable that you'd expect someone who's kind of bedded into the season with high potential. And I think he could have done a lot better last week had he got past Edo Mortara, who kind of blocked him into that corner, and he lost a bit of carbon fibre. And I think that was quite a game-changing event. So yeah, I think he probably is going to be set to be higher. Second. So we're going through these groups really fast. My next 2, I really hope they pull through. So for my second, I've gone for Nick de Vries. Now, I know that he is having a terrible season at the moment. Like we don't rate him very highly on this channel, but after watching Circuit Breakers, Taylor's bigging him up and saying, actually, this is a world champion in Formula E, and he's in one of the faster cars from testing. So yeah, I'm going for Nick de Vries because, yeah, I think it's time to just shake off some of the pre-season and start of the season gremlins, I guess is the best word, and start showing the performance of that car. So I'm gone for Nick de Vries.
Nice choice. I think he's due a bit of luck. And speaking of a bit of luck, I've gone for Corey'sBoldCalls.com. I've gone for Joel Eriksson. I've gone for Joel Eriksson, yes.
Crikey.
I just think, new track, no one's raced there before in Formula E. I think it's time for some boldness to be floating around the air, don't you think, Kyle?
It's very early
I've gone
for you
for
to
Joel
be bold.
Eriksson. Yeah, well, I've gone for him because, he made me look silly in round 1, putting him as my depleted and then scoring points. I just think, you know what, new track, Joel Eriksson, he might, show us a little bit. So I've put him in. I've put him in, Kyle.
And
I've
I
gone for
think
him.
the form book of Formula E, I mean, that's what I was doing, looking who I thought the strongest drivers were, and I took like the testing data and try and translated them into my predictions. It doesn't work. You can't do that. And I think that's the beauty of this whole like prediction is like we could be completely wrong, and we probably already are. But we might score massive points or hardly any. So yeah, I think it's a good decision, and I think he is consistently doing quite well. I think he's been around the 10th to 7th mark in both races. He's been in that window, but scoring points, getting points on the board is exactly how you keep your team higher in the constructors. I feel like I'm babying everyone there, but it's true, isn't it? The more points you score, the higher your team's going to be.
Yeah, literally. You've knocked the nail on the head there, Kyle.
I'm waiting for a metaphor from this episode. I feel like we always have a strange metaphor. Going into first place, who's going to be the top of my qualifying session? I've kind of got two teams, or one team in here, and I think they're going to be both quick. So I've gone for Edo Mortara. I think he is showing that team has a lot of pace, and had they not come together and had a bit of a slow start in Sao Paulo, I think they'd be just up there with Citroën. I feel like it's so close. The red cars all seem to be giving it. Andretti, Citroën, and obviously Mahindra are like these underdog cars that, they're not Porsche, are they? So it's nice to see that there's a little speed between everyone else. But that's who I think who's going to top is Edo Mortara. Who do you think is going to top your group stage?
Well, Kyle, the boldness is in the air, as we know. So I've gone for a guy that has 0 points. It's Felipe Drugovich. Yes. It's going to be a random weekend, I think. That's basically, you know what, you can pick your drivers at the top of the standings, and you can, pick on the drivers that you think, are proving it week in, week out. But it's Drugovich's time, Kyle, in that Andretti. Dennis is already in there. Why not throw his teammate in there? And Joel Ericsson's in there. So, it's going to be his time, Kyle. I think he's going to make it through. Drugovich in. And that's about it.
And I think it shows, doesn't it, that you've got two drivers from one team, and so do I. And I think it might come down to how the team approach this weekend by the sounds of what we're saying. But again, anything can happen. These, of course, are the drivers, just in case you want to have another rethink about what you want to put into group stages. Not that me or Corey can ever sway any decisions, because we're really just going off what we think. And even though we give our evidence, it is just a guess. Moving on to pole position. So obviously now we go in a different order. So it goes me, then Corey, then me, and vice versa till we get to the winning team. So for my pole position, I've gone for Barnard, only because it's a new track and he's quick, and I just think Barnard, it's just got Barnard written all over it, and he was quick last week on that last week. I've done it again. Last race. If we refer to last week, we just mean the last race. But I just think he was quick. He was in the fighting five for the win, even though I think the positions had already been kind of set. He was there, and he was ready to pounce just in case someone decided to collart into each other. So that's who I'm going for my pole position. Who's the head of the pack for you?
So, I like what you've done there, because you picked someone from my group, and I've done the exact same, and again, you chose someone that I didn't pick at all, and I've done the exact same as you. I've gone for Oliver Rowland in the Nissan. And, he's proven, like, I know last year is obviously completely different to this year, because, Formula E is always a lottery. But I think Rowland, he's going to be at the front. I think he's going to start at the front. And I don't really have much more of an explanation, to be honest. I just think he's going to acclimatise to the track probably better than others. The Nissan's a pretty strong car anyway, so I think he's going to be putting it on the pole position. But we'll see. Who knows? Joel Eriksson might make it, Kyle.
I actually rate that decision, and only because obviously he is a very strong contender. And in my unscripted episode, when I watched it back, I made him sound like the man out of Halloween, the big villain, because I was like, I'm scared of Oliver Rowland because he's so good. And I think that is, he's got the caliber of winning this championship, and he's been up there on the podium, I think now twice in the two races. So him and Consistent Cassidy are definitely who I think are going to be dueling it out for the championship, if of course they keep consistent. So now obviously that's our pole positions. Over to you for your Energized Driver. Who is going to do the best this weekend for you?
So similarly to what you said about in your dual selections, I have gone for one of your dual selections, Kyle. Any guesses who it could be?
I don't want to, because if you say the one it is, I'm going to be very upset. So I'm just wanting to do it. All
right. So my I was going to say my Jules pick then. My energized driver is Nick De Vries, and I know you said earlier that we don't really rate him on this channel, but I think he's had two rotters, hasn't he? Really, when you think about it. Like last week, obviously he broke down. Obviously last week, I mean last race. And obviously he had his contacts in Sao Paulo. I think it's going to be a better week for him, and I'm just confident.
I'm not very
I think
happy
De
about that
Vries-
decision. I'm not very happy.
You're not happy. You're not happy.
I
You
had
can be fuming, but if he does well, you can laugh at me all you like.
Well, frustratingly, he was my first pick. So, and this is why we alternate. So,
Oh.
yeah, I picked him too. And do you know why? Because obviously we've been talking about him, and Circuit Breakers were talking about him, and I was like, we rate him really badly. And actually, looking at the data, he should be really good. And we rate him as our worst driver of the season so far on our rating system that me and Corey do, which will be revealed when the seasons start getting in, and we'll explain that later. But at the moment, he's the lowest, and I think for Energized Drivers, that if he does well this weekend, that's an instant 2 points. So yes, of course, I'm annoyed that you've taken that because that is a brilliant call. So, but yeah, okay.
So who have you gone for then? Who's your substitute? Have you just got to pick a name off the spot and think of?
No,
it?
so
Or
I
are
did
you gonna
write. I
look
did
at the
write
list?
some. No, so I did write somebody down. Well, I didn't write somebody down, but in this series we can do wild cards essentially, and I have gone for Jaguar as my Energized Driver, which means I can double down, or I could completely, if they're keeping on the form they are, I'm gonna, still have no points. But I have gone for Jaguar as they are bottom of the season with no points. They're below Yola Yamaha. Oh, for goodness sake.
Lola Yamaha.
I swear they're designed to
Yola Yamaha. I love that. Yola Yamaha. I love that. That should be the new team name.
Yeah, and I think that's.
I can't even say it wrong.
Yeah,
Lola Yamaha, Yola Yamaha.
Yeah, but I just think that I didn't have a second driver, but I had a feeling that you were going to do the same thing as me. So I was like, right, okay, I feel like I've got the opportunity to introduce you to a new thing as well, that you can, for Energized Driver and Depleted, go for a team. But I feel like this is already going to either set me up to get some points as a little backup, or if they do terrible again, I think Jag should be scoring points. If they don't score any points again, no points again. So, but yeah, that's who I think. But Nick De Vries, a very good call, and I think he will pick up his game. I think he's just been quite unfortunate. And I think we think about it in Sao Paulo when he hit Edo and then into Tictum, I think was how it went. I think that it was just a mistake. And then obviously he didn't have a great race in Mexico. Oh no, he broke down in Mexico. So of course then we were rating him low. So yeah, I think it's just Sao Paulo, that the cloud over his head. So, but yeah. So Depleted, we don't really like this category, do we, Corey? Because it's about putting someone in the bin, and it's quite a hard topic. And I looked at the list earlier and I was like, I really don't know, because this season's been so random, it's really difficult to just pick somebody. But I've actually gone for Jake Dennis, which feels really bizarre. But I think out of all the consistency that's going to go on, I feel like Andretti, in America as well. What am I doing? But I just, great. I know, I've realised that now I've said it.
I'll tell you what. American fans aren't going to be happy with you picking the Andretti car to struggle in America, but Kyle's controversialcalls.com, this one.
But that's the one I could pick, because I was looking at Porsche and I just thought, no, I feel like they've had quite a mediocre start, and I think actually they might shine this weekend. So I was like, do you know what? Out of Cassidy and Dennis, who's more consistent? I was like Cassidy, so I went for Dennis. I hope I'm wrong. It's not a decision I made lightly. Is that the right phrase? But I'm not happy with it. Yeah. But it's the only one I could feel like I could put into a box that would make sense. So I've gone for Jake Dennis. Who have you put in the box of, oh no, I really wish I didn't?
So I've got De Vries as my Energized, but my Depleted is Degrassi.
Oh, okay.
I've gone for Degrassi. I just think he's just going to be last. I just don't know. I just think he's just going to be propping up the field, not really making any moves. He's going to get his attack mode, and then it's going to be a full course yellow. I just think it's just going to be bad. But like we said, we don't like picking a depleted driver, do we, Kyle? But someone has to hold the reins of being out of battery, and I think Lucas Degrassi is going to be out of battery this weekend. I think it's just going to be an absolute shocker for Yola Lamahar.
I was I was about to say that yellow team because I'm now scared of saying the team name. But that yellow team obviously had an okay start, but I feel like they're just again at the back end now. So I want to see obviously Zane do really well. Obviously same with Degrassi, but yeah, I don't think it's a bad call. I think it's hard because again, I think it's really close, and to pick an Energized and a Depleted, and our scoring really shows that it's quite hard. I thought I would hit the jackpot with Buemi last time, but look how that ended. So I actually scored. I gave myself 0. So
I think Lola are actually making positive steps to start the season. Like, Zane Maloney didn't get any points all of last year. And Degrassi, I think he got like 30 odd or something, maybe. And I just thought, it's sad to see that one driver's got all the points and the other driver who's probably, on paper, not worse than Degrassi. I mean, Degrassi's obviously Formula E world champion. But Zane Maloney is still a quality driver. And I think with the car and the tools that he's got, he's trying to get the best out of it. And I think obviously he scored points in Sao Paulo, Kyle. So I think Lola are making steps, in my opinion. I mean, I could be wrong. It could be backward steps for because other teams have made backward steps and they've kind of fallen into the fight a little bit. But I think all round, I think they can be pretty positive. So even though I've literally just said he's going to be my depleted driver, I think in fairness to Lola Yamaha, they are making positive steps.
Yeah, and that's what we want to see anyway. It's so close, and anything can happen. I mean, this circuit, which we haven't really talked about it, but the layout is this. This is the layout that's now been officially released on Formula E's website. It's very cut down to the Formula One circuit, but of course we race different. We're built different. We've definitely got the best part of the tracks in there. So I'm excited to see it. I think this is a similar layout to what they ran on the Evo sessions. So yeah, it'll be good to see. Obviously, nice tight circuit in an interesting location. So let's talk about the race result then. So third place is, you're starting it off. Who do you think's going to come third in the race, Cor?
I think the consistency is going to be key, and I think it's going to be him again. I think consistent Cassidy is going to be back on the podium once more. I think he's finished first, he's finished second. Is it time for him to finish third? I don't know. I can't remember if he finished. Did he finish second, didn't he, in Sao Paulo? Correct me if I'm wrong. He's leading the championship, so I think he is.
No, I think he came third in Sao Paulo, actually.
Oh, did he? Well, I think he's going to make it 3 from 3 for podiums. I really do. And like we said in, was it episode 1 or episode 2, consistent Cassidy. He has a knack for being consistent, and that is major in the Formula E World Championship. You can win a race, but you can finish 10th 3 times, and you're out the picture really. So I think with his consistency, he's going to go on to do good things, and I think he's going to carry it on. In truth, so I've gone for him in third. And yeah, so Kyle, I hope I haven't picked your driver for third, but who have you gone for?
You did pick my third. I think it's fantastic though. It shows that we're really on the same sort of lines, and I'm starting to think you might have picked the same second and first, but well, we shall see. I actually haven't got a backup, so I've just, as you were talking there, I was like, well, who do I want to back? So I'm going to give it to Pepe Marti. I'm going bold. Like, I could have gone for Mortara, but I feel like he came third, I think, last week. So I feel like I want to show that there is some boldness in my decisions, and I feel like going bold can score you some points. So I'm going to go for Pepe Marti in the Cooper Kiro. For my second position, I've gone for Oliver Rowland. So, again, just on the fact that he's scarily consistent, he likes second position, he loves first, but I think, again, I just think that second is where I'm going to put him. So that's my only reasoning, that I want him in second. What about you? What's your second?
So, I had Oliver Rowland down as second base. So, we know what happens when you nick one of my drivers, Kyle. It's Corey's magical bold call. So I have gone just off the cuff, no reasoning because I've had to change my mind. I've gone for a driver that perhaps maybe should have done a little bit better last week, same thing. I've gone for Nico Muller in the Porsche. I think a lot of people were positive about Nico Muller going into Mexico, thinking, oh, you know what, this could be the time Nico Muller gets his win. And he ended up finishing ninth, which was a little bit disappointing. I think I had him as my depleted, didn't I?
And you scored a point for that.
Yeah, because he'd lost positions in the race. But I think he's going to have a better week. I think, he didn't have the best of weekends last time, so I think he'll do better this time. So I've had to, because you nicked Roland, so I've gone for him. I've backed Nico Muller this time, so we'll see how he does.
I think last race, when Pascal was out of position and took his attack mode earlier, I think actually affected Muller's race. I think it was just Porsche were trying to get back into that position that they need Pascal to be in. Because Muller was in a safe position. He was in second, wasn't he, for most of the race, and then he just sort of dropped backwards. So yeah, I believe it's a good shout. You now have the power to decide who you think your first place is going to be. So let's find out. Who have you picked as your first?
Well, because you nicked Roland off me, I'm going to put him first then. Because I didn't know who... I actually didn't put anyone down for first. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to see who's around, and then I'll just think, oh, shall I pick Wehrlein? Shall I pick Dennis? Shall I pick Norman Nato? You know? But because I've kind of hyped up Roland a little bit, I've stuck him on pole, I think, you know what, we'll have him winning the race as well. I mean, it's not often you convert pole in Formula E, is it? But I reckon he's just, like you said, he loves a second, he loves a first. And if you're having him as loving a second, I'll have him as loving a first. So I've gone for Oliver Rowland. I think he's got the tools and the tricks, hasn't he? And he knows. I feel like he's good with his attack mode management.
Well, I've started watching older races because they pop up on the YouTube, and I saw a season 7 race that he was in, and he was at the front, and he looked scarily quick. I was like, how is he scarily quick? So he's definitely like one of the what will be greatest of all times, I think, of Formula E as the sport grows and gets a legacy.
Definitely.
So yeah,
I think he's also like last time. He was like he didn't qualify very well, did he? Or he dropped down. He was down in like 12th or something, and then he obviously used his attack mode and brought him up to the front, and he stayed there.
And I also think there was a few moments in that race that if it hadn't happened, like the safety car when Da Costa pushed him off because he went wide, and that wasn't Da Costa's fault, that's just 4 into 1. Had that not happened, he wouldn't have lost as many positions, and I think that did keep the beast of Oliver Rowland. I think that's what I'm going to call him now, the beast. Keep him behind because I think he was...
from Barnsley.
Yes, Corey! That's amazing. We got the beast from Barnsley and the consistent Cassidy, and I'm excited to see what names they're all going to get. Boxer Frog Gunther and all that.
Yeah, Mighty Muller because he's coming second for me. Yeah, but yes. So yeah, I've obviously just like I've said, I've gone for Rowland. I think he just knows where to put his car.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
It's not a silly prediction, is it?
No, and it's a new track, so everyone's going to be sort of on the same sort of knowledge level. I know different categories of race there, and possibly DTM. I know Formula 1 obviously have. I don't know if Formula 2 have. But
F1 Academy.
Some of these drivers, but none of the drivers here are eligible for F1 Academy, Kyle. But it's okay. But yes, I think even though some of the drivers may have had experience on that track, I don't think it's going to play too much into their hands because obviously the circuit layout's going to be different, and obviously it's full electric Formula E.
So I guess like Pepe Marte might be a good choice.
It's like going to the library and not knowing what book you're going to come out with. I think it's just you're going to go in there and you're going to find one and you think, oh yeah, that's the one I'm having. And then, I think... I'm semi-erect with positivity, Kyle. I think it's going to be great.
I think I enjoy the show more just to hear some of the metaphors that you come out with. The book from the library, the box of flogs, the rough end of the stick was one of mine.
Yeah. So, the Pokemon Go on the canal.
That's the one, Now, before we continue, I actually need to do my first place. We've talked about yours for about 5 minutes. I guess
Sorry,
I didn't have Oliver Rowland clearly for first, so I haven't had mine robbed. But do you know what? I'm starting to think that I want this. I want to talk this into existence. So I've gone Buemi. He was quick last week, so why can't he be quick this week? So that is what I'm going on. And I think, do you know what? The resurgence of Buemi would just be an awesome end to Gen 3. So yeah, I've gone for Buemi.
So since you've picked Buemi as your first position, have you picked Envision as your team?
Well, you'll have to wait because I'm not second in the championship. You are. So let's get the graphics on. Pity points for Corey.
Oh yes. Okay, well, I thought I was doing a really nice solid there.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I can go first, but that's breaking the rules.
Well, yeah, but then I could. See, I've been listening to you this episode.
Yeah.
Which, believe it or not, I listen to you every.
Okay, I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna throw the rule book out the window.
No. What I was gonna say is I
Yeah.
could be really, really mean and pick. I can't remember what team you picked as your Energized.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I don't think you're gonna get this option. So I'm gonna go first now because you threw it to me.
Yeah, go on.
And I feel like it's not going to throw your decision out the window. I am throwing the book out the window because the rules are now gone. But I have gone for Nissan as my winning team. Is that who you went for?
Kyle, I've got Nissan written down right here because I thought Roland would do well, and now.
This show is so unpredictable in itself, isn't it, really? I bet you regret doing that now. Who are you going to pick?
I'm going to pick Nissan. No, right, so you've kind of forced my hand a little bit here, Kyle. Because you picked my winner, Roland races for Nissan, I'll go for Envision. Right? I'm going for Envision, Kyle. Because, obviously, as I established earlier, Joel Eriksson is going to get into the duels this week. And you've got Buemi winning the race. So I think Envision are going to have a vision of the podium and win not win the race. I've already said they're not, but they're going to win. They're going to win. Yeah. I've kind of messed that up. I messed that up, but it's fine.
The winner of the race tends to have a stronger chance of winning the winning team. If I hadn't have gone for Nissan, I was actually going for DS Penske. So I bet you wish you'd have gone forward first now, but. As Formula E likes to do, it will be Yamaha that win, won't it be? That's how it'll happen.
Joel Eriksson P1, Degrassi P2, Maloney P3.
Yeah.
He's got it written all over. Right?
That is a normal weekend in Formula E, especially if you're new. So this show's been chaos. I don't know if it's because you've turned the light off or we're scared of the beast from Barnsley, but yeah, I feel like this episode's been chaos. So, but I've thoroughly enjoyed going through that. Obviously, very exciting this new track that's coming to Formula E. I feel like it could be a good home track. One that stays on the calendar quite a lot because I think it is a decent track. I think what we've seen from F1 doesn't really show it off because I think that it's one of those street circuits that I just think doesn't have a lot of personality at high speed, but I think tight corners is where I think this track's going to shine. So that's my opinion. What's your opinion?
I don't think the Miami circuit suits Formula 1, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But for Formula E, it could work because obviously you've got the long sweeping corners and you've got straights, and obviously your tech mode could come in handy.
It doesn't actually show where that is.
straights.
I imagine that'll be in turn 4 down the bottom. So, or maybe the last turn.
But
it's significantly smaller.
I haven't actually seen the track layout, but just basing it off from what I know it's quite windy and there's long straights. So I think it could be more. What's the word? Formula E could be more acclimatized sort of thing to it. I think it will suit better racing. I think Formula E will definitely make Miami better than what it has been in Formula 1 and Formula F1 Academy. But yeah, let's have a look at this.
And we're not dissing any other motorsports on this. We're just literally giving our opinion on what we think the circuit will do. One thing I do want to mention before we end the show is me and Corey are in a race of our own, and that is the race to 1,000 subscribers. And we've just hit 400, which is a massive achievement. We, I think, are 2 or 3 races ahead of the season catching us up. We're trying to beat the get our goal by the end of the season. So every race, the car's going to catch up to us. The graphic is on screen now to see the race in real time. We've got a big lead, but we can't be caught napping, Core, so we better pick up our quality of content. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do like the video and make sure you got your predictions to join in the Fan Zone Championship, as that's what I've called it. So, what do you think of the track anyway? Because I've shared it with you.
Yes, I think that is going to be all right for Formula E. I think because I was thinking, like the long, you got the long, like sector 1 in the Formula 1, you got like the long bendy bit, and then you got the long left-hander. I thought that would be where the attack mode would be.
Yeah, I think that would have been a great place for that.
But now I've seen the actual layout, I think it'll work. I think it'll be a good circuit.
Yeah.
I haven't really got much more to say to it, to be honest. I think it will be a decent race.
Well, I think that's all we need to do. If we've got our predictions in, they're locked in now, Core. You're only 2 points behind me. I think today's decisions and almost, stealing each other's. That's been the show. We're obviously on the same thinking page of where we want the results to go and what we think of the drivers. So I will just say one more plug to just say firstly thank you for everyone who purchased our stat guide, which is the ultimate racing program for Formula E. I don't know which side Corey is. He was doing his little jazz hands.
I don't know. I'll do some jazz hands this way and this way.
I did get the track map completely wrong in the book, but this has only just released. But we went for like the layout. And we also added the bit you talked about where you thought attack mode could be. Yeah. So, but if you are new to Formula E and you want to join along, and it's themed around our quiz show, look cool. So not a plug, not an ad, but it is. It's just to say thank you for everyone who's purchased it, but also it does exist. Obviously, our sport is very small, so any way we can link you to it, we've tried to integrate it. So yeah, Corey says links down in the description to all the shops, whether you're from England, France, Germany, Canada, America. I think they're the and Italy. It's in most locations. We have tried to make it accessible. So, but that is our predictions. We look forward to the Miami E-Prix. I think it's going to be a good one. I think it's a late race. As obviously, well, for the UK, it's a late race because obviously it being Miami.
Yeah, probably would.
So Saturday night. Well, hey, what a way to start a Saturday night. So, anything else you want to say, Cole, to your loyal fans who seem to love you in the comments, by the way?
I know I didn't pick Gunther again, but he will return one day. All I'm going to say is I'm going to beat you all this week. I know I'm not the best at this, but I will beat you. So if you want to try and beat me, you can try.
What happened to if you team Corey? Now you seem to be going against
the
fans.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, if you team Corey, then come on, let's work together. Put Ericsson in your duels, and we'll see how we get on. But yes, thank you all for watching. It is fun making these, isn't it, Carl?
Yeah,
let's be honest. We love making them.
It's and to us it's quite easy as well as new fans to come in, and you've all accepted us so well as well. No one's had a go at us in the comments for being too bold. So, and we do enjoy reading some of the absolute audacious calls that sometimes turn out to be brilliant. So we're trying to promote the boldness. I feel like this show is sponsored by Bold. I just keep thinking it sounds like a detergent. It probably is, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think we'll end it there before we start. Start getting
tangenting somewhere. Yeah.
But yeah, thanks
before we stop boring you to death.
Yeah. So thanks for watching the show that doesn't really have a name, but we're going to call it the Current Lap Prediction Show with Kyle and Corey, sponsored by Bold Predictions.
Cue that outro.